this is BoxLocks. Now, I must say, if it wasn't clear, there's something I'd like to make known about myself right now. I am a controller fiend. Everyone has her own addictions. I'm addicted to buying controllers. Now, despite what my loved ones say, I have a reason for every controller I buy. But before any of that, let's rewind the clock to December 3rd, 2021. A controller was announced. The Panda controller by the esports org Panda Global. Now please, don't turn my comments section into a flame war. I do not give a shit about the drama that happened. In fact, everyone was so obsessed with the drama that barely anyone talks about the controller. This controller would have had it all. Removable faceplates, custom colors, programmable buttons, Hall effect sticks, and expansion pack, all for $90. $150 later, I wanted the Pro Controller inspired design. I was on cloud 9. Finally, a controller that solves so many problems that I admittedly did not know were issues until I found out that this controller fixed them. Every day I checked the Kickstarter, and every day the goal climbed higher and higher. All of these cool new features were going to be added. Then, the worst thing that possibly could have happened. I was refunded my money. I remember sitting in the car and the sheer disappointment running its poison through my entire body as I floundered for a reason why they would do this. Why would they cancel a nearly $2 million Kickstarter 3 days before it was going to go liquid? Panda had their reasons, and I respect them, but I never forgave Panda for what felt like ripping my dream controller right out of my hands before my own eyes. So I ended up buying a box, which years later I'd say, I have issues with it. It works fine, but that's not something I should be saying about my dream controller. Fast forward to July of 2024 when I'm writing this. Before 2024 is up, I would like to have 3 things in my figurative lap. Firstly, Rivals 2. I don't need to explain why. Second is the Battler GC Pro by Retro Fighters. Fun fact, I was this close to buying the Blade GC controller. It looked cool and I needed a new controller at the time. I know I'm a little guy screaming into the void of YouTube, but if this gets to controller manufacturers, please listen closely. Stop putting fucking turbo in your controllers. They make a controller tournament illegal for anyone who wants to play Smash competitively. I feel like casual gamers don't really buy mini controllers. They probably play on like 1 or 2. God forbid Joy-Cons. Ugh. But the official Pro Controller is already perfect for casuals. It works super well for everything you would want it to. Controller manufacturers should focus on the more competitive gamers, or those who are ass like me, but still like to take the game a little more seriously than most. That's why I have already pre-purchased the Battler GC Pro. I got the cool crystal one because I like seeing the controller internals. This controller has almost everything I could want. I wish it had button remapping, and I don't know if it has 1.0 cardinals. I still don't fully understand what that is, but a lot of controllers I've used have incorrect notches. For Smash specifically, I would think that if a controller has a down left notch, that if I put the stick down left and pressed A, I should get Kazuya's down back tilt. But that's not the case. On most controllers, down back is more like slightly under left for some reason. So we'll have to see how the controller actually plays when it comes out. The controller also has a feature that I always wanted, but no controller maker has ever bothered to do. It works for Melee too, on an actual GameCube. That rocks. I mean, I suck at Melee, and I've only ever played Melee on box, but I like having the option. Panda gave me hope for an everything controller. One controller you could play any game with. If the Battler GC Pro turns out well, it will be pretty close to that dream. It should be arriving around October. We'll play a fun game once I introduce the third thing I am doubtful will come out this year, but would be happy to see. Back in May 2024, after endless frustration with the box, and the whole not being able to play Rivals 2 debacle, video here by the way, I impulse purchased a controller I had my eye on here and there. The Glyph controller. To this day, you can purchase this controller from the website. Something I find so frustrating about boxes is that they're never available. Looking at you, Frame 1, I was literal seconds away from buying it, but it sold out because I hesitated because I wanted to make sure everything in my cart was correct. That's why the box rakes in cash, because they actually make the damn controllers. Here I am wanting to waste $300 on your product, but no one's selling. The Glyph, if done correctly, might be everything I could want from a box controller. Completely open source, moddable. Can you imagine? I can't even imagine having my own Rivals 2 config, a keyboard config, an X input mode that is completely functional instead of mostly functional sometimes, like mine is. Having enough buttons to avoid needing to have extra buttons on another layer. Having the D-pad always available instead of being on its own layer as well. And that's not even the big thing. They intend for their shit to be plug and play. Now, I cannot stress how valuable that is. No one wants to spend 40 hours coding their controller because it doesn't work the way they want it to. No one wants to have to buy 50 attachments just to make the thing function. No one wants to spend $150 on a brick board that doesn't work with PS5s because they're dumb and they don't like third-party controllers. And no one wants to have that very same brick board disconnect the actual controller's inputs, leading to it having to be disconnected entirely and essentially being a waste of money. Most of the box makers tried to help with this issue, but they really weren't sure why it exists. Haystack himself was super helpful, but he told me a bunch of power-related stuff, and I have no idea how to do that. A controller that's promised to be able to be plug and play using just a brick adapter, those shits are like $60. And since I went to my first ever real FGC local a few months back, I know that most consoles have those plugged in already. I'm a silver rank in Street Fighter 6 and a green rank in Tekken, so a complete noob. But I think it would be so much fun to carry one Glyph and one brick and be able to play with anyone at a venue. So long, I thought the solution was to find someone to help make the box great, when the real answer was to just buy a different controller. Obviously, my box isn't going anywhere, and it's still going to be my main serious controller until the Glyph comes. So, time for the game. Glyph said on their Kickstarter that they intend for release to be summer of 2024, which I knew wasn't going to be the case. Considering they had a new feature they wanted to add, and considering the controllers aren't even done being made, I'm doubtful of their new fall 2024 estimate as well. I feel like controllers probably won't be shipped out until summer 2025 the latest. This October will mark 1 year since the Kickstarter succeeded. May of 2025 will mark 1 year from when I purchased the controller. Now it's time for our game. The Battler GC Pro will be coming out October 2024. Rivals 2 will be coming out late 2024 from what the team keeps saying. The last closed beta is this August, so likely a few more months of polishing before the release version is wet. I would be very surprised if the full game releases earlier than November-December of 2024. Maybe at the end of December 2024, else why would it be late 2024? I would bet no money and infinite bragging rights that I will not be sent my Glyph until some point in 2025. The name of the game is this. What will come first? Rivals 2, the Battle GC Pro, or the Glyph controller? My guess order is the Battler GC, Rivals 2, and then the Glyph. But I could be wrong. However, I will only accept being wrong if both of those things come before the Battler GC Pro. Because if they made me wait 5 months just to have me wait another random amount of time, I'll be pissed. This controller coming out in October is something I've been hoping for a while now. If you guys would like, I can review these controllers when they come. I might do it anyway. Maybe a head-to-head for the box versus Glyph. You know I'm not biased, because not only did I pay for both controllers, no one is sending me a Glyph early, so I have to wait in the trenches like everyone else. Thank you for watching. BoxLox out.